What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Immortals of Aveum or Avium. I'm still a little unsure of how to exactly pronunciate it, but this game looks honestly really cool. And we did a live reaction of the trailer actually on our podcast a few days ago. I wanted to talk about it, in a condensed video, and also talk about some of the details that people are writing about in previews. Okami Games, I think, does a great job of kind of condensing it all into a digestible read. So let's maybe start there, and we'll kind of talk about my general impressions of the game. So what we have is it's a single-player Magic FPS built on Unreal Engine 5. It's Call of Duty without guns. Spells, and which is in quotes, by the way, that's kind of important. Spells can act as long-range rifles, shotguns, etc. It's a 25-hour-long campaign. Fantasy world with sci-fi elements. Combat is fast-paced, akin to Doom. 25 total spells. Plenty of room for exploration with some Metroidvania elements and puzzle solving, and it's helmed by Brett Robbins, who's former game director on Dead Space and COD. And then he also says, for full transparency, Robbins himself says, we aren't fantasy COD due to the bigger focus on narrative and exploration. A lot of the previews are saying that to give a general idea of what it is, but obviously not a one-to-one comparison. So I think that's important. And honestly, when watching this trailer and watching the gameplay specific portion, Call of Duty is not, like, if you didn't tell me about the link to Call of Duty or things like that, I don't think I would have thought of that as a comparable. Doom is definitely the first thing that I thought of when we watched it live for the first time. Definitely reminds me of Doom. Ghostwire Tokyo is also one that immediately, and not because Ghostwire Tokyo is the first one to kind of do something like this, or this game is the first, but because Ghostwire Tokyo is, relatively new. Ghostwire is a lot more rigid, right? It's a lot more stiff, and it's actually a lot more limited, right? In terms of the power-ups, you don't have as many elements as you do these spells. 25 spells is, that's like 5 or 6 times what you could do in Ghostwire Tokyo. So it is something that reminds me of it, immediately. But even Doom, you look at all the enemies, you look at the way the character kind of moves around a map and just kind of spins themselves around to focus on different enemies. Very much Doom. And I guess the idea of the actual combat coming from your hand, that feels like a rifle, it feels like a weapon you would use in a Call of Duty, I could get that, right? I guess that's the kind of link that they do. But the game looks really good. I mean, to kind of just quickly go over my thoughts, this game looks awesome. The game, I think the release date is a big bonus. I was talking about this in the podcast. July 20th, you're going to be in the middle of a drought, right? And maybe worldwide an actual drought, but also in terms of gaming, there's not a lot of games that come out in July, right? June is packed, May is packed, even late April is packed. But once you get to July, there's not much. And then by the time you get to July 20th, you've already had multiple weeks of nothing, and you're going to continue to have weeks of nothing. August generally kind of picks up towards the end, right? There's always, and I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes out at the end of August, but the end, right? So really, this game may have like an entire month or so to itself. That's a big bonus for a game that, it's a new IP, something people haven't necessarily seen before. It's a full price game. It's $70, right? But it's only on next gen or current gen, as I like to call it. The Unreal Engine 5 thing, that's, I think, a pretty cool, we're starting to see a couple games, but not too many that are just fully built in Unreal Engine 5. So I'm pumped. I mean, I think this game looks really fun. And even if it is like a mix of Doom and Ghostwire Tokyo, like I will absolutely, but faster, I guess, I'll absolutely take that. The narrative stuff, to be honest with you, that looks the least interesting of the entire first half of the trailer. Is all just kind of world building, I guess, talking, character building. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, or I think it's going to be bad. It didn't grab me in any way. But the combat's like, all right, let's get to the meat of things. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're all subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.